good with this?
It's not her call.
Law and Order, SVU, and Organized Crime. All new episodes Thursdays on City TV or stream on City TV Plus, the app, or citytv.com.
This is Rogers TV, Gray County.
Welcome to Gray County Life on Rogers at Home. Good morning, everybody. How are you, Miss Mary Jane?
Oh, good morning, Rhonda, and good morning, Charlie. Well, we've got a bit of a great day out there today. So just another one of those January mornings.
You got that right. And I guess we're going to get a little bit of snow, but not too much. And I wanted to say, and welcome to our favorite lifestyle magazine. I know, I'm terrible at remembering those things. On Rogers TV. I wanted to say that I was just reading on Facebook today that the Harrison Park Good Cheer Rink is now open for business. So that's a good thing. That'll be something for people to go out and get some activity during the gray days of January.
Oh, it's always great to get out and have a good skate. Good energy and fresh air, and it just is a feel good.
It is. I gotta say it. I know it's almost sacrilegious in Canada, but I don't like skating. I've never liked it. I don't know if I have weak ankles or I've just never had a good pair of ice skates, but I find it extremely painful. Never really liked it, but I like being outside.
Oh, so. Well, I did do a lot of skating many years ago, and I've just found that being on skates is a little more trickier for me now. But I love to see my grandchildren and out there skating on the rink and being outside and having fun.
Yeah, it is nice. It is very nice. I haven't been, I know what you mean though. As we get older, some of those things don't feel quite so safe. I haven't downhill skied in a few seasons now after COVID and everything, and I'm not so confident as to how confident I would feel on those skis at this point. We'd have to start at the baby hill, I think.
Well, sometimes, we have to build up our strength in order to get those skills back. And it's really important to keep up maybe indoor exercises and some of the outdoor exercises to keep us well and healthy and all our joints moving and keeping us active. That's for sure. But speaking of skating, just got a message from Dan Smith and he is the director of scouting for the Meaford Knights, the junior hockey club, and they're having a special fundraiser that's coming up on February the 2nd, which is a Thursday night. The Meaford Knights are playing the Temiskaming Titans, and it's a special event and fundraiser for Ashley Glock, who is a single parent, has 2 daughters, but she's been connected with the Meaford Knights for over 10 years as a billet mom and as an avid volunteer and a person with a great outlook on life no matter what, and has just brought a lot of joy to people. And so Dan would like to see as many people coming out to the game on Thursday, February 2nd to support this fundraiser.
Yeah, it sounds like they have lots of different events that night to raise funds, and I believe it's going to her family. I could be wrong, but I believe it's going to her girls. Yeah,
yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's a fundraiser for the family because she has 2 girls.
Yeah, and a hockey mom, I never signed up for that because I just thought there's just no way. It's those early morning practices. No, thank you. But it sounds like she was really spectacular at it and billeting these young players. I mean, obviously you're going to be a hockey fan doing that, but boy, like these are not little guys. These are great big strapping hockey players that, come with a lot of gear and all that goes along with that, which I can just imagine, and the food. I can imagine, they must go through an awful lot of big, wonderful meals. And these hockey moms are pretty awesome out there to do that as a service for our communities.
Well, yes, all three of my sons played hockey, and all you have to do is open the refrigerator door and everything is consumed.
Yeah.
We never had leftovers in our house ever.
I can't even imagine having three big boys and playing hockey, and the work involved. And we've got obviously lots of people in Owen Sound that do the same thing, but it sounds like Ashley was really good at it and connected with these kids and was their mom away from home, which is pretty special. Pretty special when you can do that for a young person.
Well, I think that is incredible because wherever the hockey players are, they need to feel included, and they need to feel part of the community. But most importantly, they need to feel as if they're part of a family.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I would imagine, I mean, they're pretty young when they move off and go into other communities like that. And but that's part of the big hockey environment, I think, and the community that it has, the sense of community that these players and families have. It is quite special.
Well, yes, and the other thing I wanted to mention too, which has to do with downtown Owen Sound, and I didn't realize this, but Brigitte is celebrating 30 years in business downtown, and she has fabulous food, but amazingly, 30 years in the downtown area and still going strong. Oh, Rhonda, did we lose you? Oh, there you are. You're back.
Yeah, I go into Brigitte's quite often. Love the food, love it, and the smells are amazing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So,
well, we've got a really good show today, and we hope that you stay with us. I hope I stay with us because I have a feeling my connection was just a little bit of a blurb there. So I'm hoping that I stay with us and everything goes smoothly. Who knows? The internet, yay! We'll be back after these messages with more Grey County life at home, and maybe Charlie will wake up a little bit.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
We can be hurt. We can be bruised. We can be broken. Slowed down, confused, and even numbed. But we can't be defeated. We're built on a foundation that's strong. Our mission, unwavering. And together we'll beat as one.
So exciting to be The Bachelor. It feels like a dream.
Mondays on City TV.
Sparks are literally flying.
I'm here to find my best friend and spend the rest of my life with someone that loves me and I love them.
I'm terrified that at the end of this, it's not me.
Are you here for me?
Yes.
Why are you making this about you?
I just hope at the end of the day, it's all worth it.
The Bachelor, all new, Mondays 8, 7 Central on City TV. Or stream on City TV Plus, the app, or citytv.com.
Grey County Life at Home. I'm one of your hosts, Rhonda Brown, with the very lazy Charlie this morning and Miss Mary Jane.
Oh, yes. Good morning, Rhonda. And we have a really special guest coming up with us right now on the show, Mike Duhacek. And he is with the the Halton Regional Police Services with over 20 years. But more importantly, too, well, I shouldn't say more importantly, just as importantly, he is the Canadian Ambassador for Cops for Cancer. And he has received several acknowledgements and also awards, particularly the Governor General's Caring Canadian. And over the past 10 years, Mike has had an amazing journey. And Mike, welcome to the show, and please tell us more about your journey.
Well, thank you both so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here and speak with you this morning. My journey kind of started back in 2012. And in 2012, I lost both my grandparents very quick from cancer. And my mom, during that time, was taking care of them. And just a few months later, she was diagnosed out of nowhere with a very early stage 4 cancer. And that, for me, I was very close with my grandparents and very close with my mother. And for that, it was kind of a 1, 2, 3 punch for me. So I went to some hospital visits with my mom and had to wait in the waiting room while she was going through her cancer surgeries. And I saw a lot of people that were waiting for their loved ones, and it was hard for them, and they were suffering just like the cancer patient was suffering. And I walked outside to take a breath of fresh air, and I looked up at the wall and it said 1 in 3 Canadians will be diagnosed with cancer in a lifetime. And I had this wave of adrenaline go through me. And I had so much pent-up frustration from watching this and dealing with my family having to go through this that I got into my truck and I drove home, and I knew I wanted to do something. And I got home and spoke to my wife, and I said, I want to do something, but I want to do something big. And I knew that there were so many wonderful initiatives out there that I could join as a team, but I wanted to spearhead something myself and start an initiative and really make an impact and try to do a symbolic gesture of what it could be to be fighting cancer. So I said that I wanted to do something big and I wanted to go far. And I looked at the map and I chose Ontario. So I told my family that I was going to drag something that depicted cancer across Ontario to try to symbolize the struggle of what some cancer patients would have to go through, feeling that weight on their back, feeling that they're alone going down dark roads, feeling that their journey is a never ending. And my family team and I spoke about what I could pull. And I said I wanted something that depicted cancer. And everybody spoke up and said, what depicts cancer better than the actual word itself? So if we had the word cancer on a large wood block and put it on a sled, what could be more Canadian than that? And it spelled out the word cancer. Then as I pulled it across our beautiful province, then everybody would see what I'm doing. Whether they knew what I was doing or not, they would see that word and they would see that RV behind me with my banners. And I was very fortunate to have police escorts the entire way. And as the convoy went through small towns and communities, it was absolutely unbelievable. I remember on day one, I started out and I had people walking with me. I had people making me dinner and meeting me on the side of the road. I had a woman that waited at the bottom of a hill because she saw that I was struggling. And she actually asked me if she could pull it up for me. And it's those types of stories that I still remember today, because the people that I was coming across were at the time strangers. I was walking through unfamiliar territory, and I had everybody taking me under their wing and helping me with whatever they could offer, whatever they could do. And I literally had the wind at my back because of that. And the first day I traveled 51 kilometers with 125 pounds on my back. And I stopped at the end of the day and got into the RV, and my brother-in-law slipped off the first pair of socks. And I had them doubled up that day because I was concerned that I didn't have insulated boots. So he slipped off the second pair of socks, and he looked up at my stepdad and said, "Oh no." And I said, "What?" And he said, "Your feet are torn apart with blisters." So I reached down at the time and I peeled the bottom of my feet off until they were raw. And I leaned back on the couch and I had a sick feeling in my stomach and looked up at the ceiling and thought, I could have just jeopardized this entire trek because of a choice of footwear. And I had to bandage them and take care of them the rest of the time very carefully. But that was day one. And I knew that the next month was going to be a challenge. As I went through day one, day two, day three, I have to admit that it did get a little tough. But again, I looked to my fellow Ontarians and them giving me the encouragement to keep going. And I did my best every single day to do just that. So as I was approaching a farm, I still remember this lovely man that was waiting at the end of the driveway for me and was waving me into his driveway on his farm. And I stopped to talk to him for a second. He said he just lost his wife to cancer, and he wanted to fill up our RV with his fuel pump. So I thought that was incredible. That was beautiful, and that was just another example of the understanding and empathy that everybody that I was coming across had. And then moving on to schools and being able to walk through hundreds of students on each side that came out in the cold to support me with signs and cheers, because even that generation was connecting with that mission. And as I walked through and they were cheering, that was more wind at my back. And I kept going and met tens of thousands of incredible people along the journey. And I got across the province. And on the 25th day, I actually was able to pull into the Canadian Cancer Society in Ottawa and take those letters off of my sled. And I was going to bury them, hence help me bury cancer. And there was a lovely gentleman there that was the owner of a construction company. And him and his brother just lost their mother to cancer and felt a lot of sympathy for the story and offered their time and equipment to dig the hole for me. And they dug the hole with their equipment. And I walked over with half of the word. And my mom was standing beside me and she put her hand on it. And we threw that first CAN into the ground. And then I went back to the sled and got the last three letters and threw them into the ground, burying cancer. And I put the first shovel full of dirt on it before the backhoe was able to actually bury it in the ground where it belongs, where it won't hurt anybody. So that was my mission that still to this day has impacted me, has changed me, to see how many people are actually fighting this disease, how many people are struggling with it. And if I can do my part, whatever I can do to help, then I will continue to do. So I was very fortunate, like you said at the beginning of the program, that I was awarded some national honors that I'm truly humbled about to this day. And I had some wonderful opportunities to speak at schools and corporate functions and share this story of hope and awareness. And for anybody that could take that piece of inspiration and start their initiative, then that's what I wanted to do, is pass that on to others. And that gave me the opportunity to run things like head shave campaigns and movement challenge campaigns that all those funds go back to the Canadian Cancer Society. And during my 25 days on the road, I took a very detailed blog that I was then actually able to sit down and start a book. And I was able to write and author a book and called One Foot in Front of the Other, The Journey of a Million Steps, about the inside story of my journey and what it actually took to get across the province. And that was a lot of, I speak a lot about my fellow Ontarians and friends and coworkers, but my family team, I couldn't have done it without them. And then that leads me into the wonderful opportunity, because of my volunteering and helping others, just wanting to do what I can. I was honored to be named the Canadian Ambassador for Cops for Cancer. And the Canadian Cancer Society honored me with that. And when I was named the 2023 Canadian Ambassador, I knew that I wanted to show up to certain functions and support however I can, because I was truly touched to be named that. But at the same time, I wanted to do something else. And again, I wanted to do something big.
No, well, actually, this time you are in, have selected Owen Sound for your next journey, which is very similar to the one that you did 10 years ago. So now you're coming to Owen Sound on World Cancer Day, which is February 4th, which is a Saturday morning at 7 a.m. And you're going from Kelso Beach, and you're going to be starting another sled pull, Help Me Bury Cancer. But this is a double up event, and you're also giving us a challenge to double up our energies. But tell us about your journey starting from Owen Sound.
Yes, I chose the beautiful town of Owen Sound as the starting point. I knew I wanted to do something else, and I looked at the map and I saw what a starting point with that beautiful body of water of Georgian Bay as the backdrop, and looked down and saw Lake Ontario at the foot of Oakville, where I have worked for over 20 years at the Halton Regional Police. So I thought, wow, that's a nice stretch of a portion of Ontario. I wonder how many kilometers that is. So I went on and calculated it, and it came out to 208 kilometers for the route that I wanted to go. And I thought, wow, that's pretty good. Now, what can I pull this time? And I thought, why don't I come up with an event to include other people so everybody can feel that they're a part of the team and we're all doing something together? So I chose to, why not double up our activity? And if we double up our activity, then you could double up. If you travel 2,000 steps a day, you could double that to 4,000 while I'm on the road. Or if you climb 5 flights of stairs a day, you could double it to 10. Little things like that is what's encouraging and getting everybody involved and together and fighting cancer together. I thought, well, what could be my portion to that double up event? And I thought, well, a double up could be 200 pounds over 200 kilometers. So I knew that it would be a challenge, but the sled this time, I'm going to call it the Beast. And it's quite a large sled, and it's now finished. And I have taken my snowmobile sled and installed a large wood block, the length of it. And I have notched out Canadian pine tree discs and have attached those discs on each side of this large block and carved in the word cancer on each side of this. And now I'm essentially pulling a 200-pound Canadian pine tree from Owen Sound to Oakville. So the double up portion of it, if anybody wanted to go that one step further, is if they went onto my website, helpmeburycancer.com, and at the Secure Canadian Cancer Society link, if you click that link, it gives you the option to donate or join the team. So if you chose join the team and you created your own team under the Help Me Bury Cancer umbrella, then you could start the team where, say his name was John, started his team, and his friends and family could donate to him by him doubling up his activity while I'm on the road, doubling up mine, going 200 kilometers with 200 pounds on my back. So I chose this for a reason. I have been going to Sable Beach in the summer with my family, all of my kids' lives, and we absolutely love the area. So it's very familiar territory for me. When I set out from Kelso Beach Park, and I start working my way up Highway 6, and I have the same intentions as my first trek, where I'm aiming to go through these beautiful small communities, small towns, where I got so much incredible support along the way. And now they're going to be the wind at my back on this initiative in 2023. So when I come up on these communities and I can see people cheering or donating or starting their initiatives, that's going to give me inspiration, the inspiration and motivation that I need to continue. I would also like to get schools involved. And we've reached out to a lot of the school boards along the way and have the kids do their double up. That could be something like a toonie drive, to be able to see how many schools can earn the most with a toonie drive. Maybe they even could come out with signs and give a cheer as we pass. And we are going to deliver papers that say, I want to bury cancer for. And if the children would like to put a name on that for me, I would take those papers on the trip with me to Oakville, where I'm going to bury the letters, and I can bury those pages with the letters when I get there.
Wow. Yeah. My goodness, Mike, that was incredible. That your story is amazing, and you're absolutely, the symbolism even of you having blisters on your feet and the challenges people face with cancer is just amazing. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you here in February. And you're right, the connection we all have through our grief of losing someone with cancer is just, it's incredible. And this is a wonderful fundraiser. We really appreciate you coming on today to tell us all about it.
Oh, thank you guys so much for the time. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, I hope to see you out on the road. I'm beginning at Kelso Beach at 7 a.m. and I will have a live GPS tracker on my website the entire time. So anybody that wants to go on to helpmeburycancer.com.
Ani, I'm Carolyn King, and I'm a member of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and the creator of the Moccasin Identifier. Philip Cote, an artist in Toronto here, took and redrew real moccasins. We're starting over with the children. The idea is that they would research whose land their school is built on, near, or what treaty area they're in. And the educational kit that we have has all that information in there. And the children just, like, love it. My dream is that this province will be covered with moccasin identifiers within the next decade, and they will forever know whose land they're on. That's the goal. Educate and awareness with a nice, simple little program called the Moccasin Identifier.
Every year, dozens of Canadians are killed or seriously injured because they take risks around railway tracks. Talk to your loved ones about rail safety. Visit stoptracktragedies.ca.
Lovely viewers, it's your host of On the Couch, Antoine El Hashim, reminding you to tune in for every episode of Season 9 of the longest running and most loved local queer talk show on Rogers TV. Check it out.
welcome back to Grey County Life on Rogers TV at home this week. And I think it was a good time to be at home, Miss Mary Jane, because the snow is just starting to fall. I'm glad we don't have to drive today.
Well, we did choose to go back to Zoom for the safety and convenience of our guests. And of course, I live out of town, so sometimes if we have bad weather, it's tricky for me to get in. So this is why, through the blessings of Zoom, we now are able to have our guests come in and they are in the comfort of their own homes or offices or workspaces, wherever that may be. And our guest coming up now on the show is Seana Morehead, and she is the executive director and a lawyer for the Grey Bruce Community Legal Clinic. And it's always such a pleasure to catch up with you, Seana, because the legal services that we have in our community are so important. And not everyone is sure what the difference is between the legal clinic and the legal system that we have at the courthouse. So welcome, and please tell us about the services that we have in your downtown location.
Thank you, Mary Jane and Rhonda, for having me. It's a pleasure to be back and to talk about the legal clinic and its role within our community and what we can offer to people. We're always here to help people, navigate through their legal problems as best we can. So you raise a really good question. A lot of people get confused around Legal Aid Ontario and how it works. So it's good to have that information. And as I tell people, if you're unsure, just call us. If we're not the right place, we will refer you to the right place. So when in doubt, just give us a call. If you're unsure if we're the right number, but if you're not, we're going to direct you to the right location. And to the right people to call. So if you're in doubt, just give us a call on our phone. We have, as I said, we have an office location downtown Owen Sound what I refer to as the old professional building for people who've been around Owen Sound for a while, next to the post office. And so you're also welcome to drop by our office if you are healthy, obviously in this days. The areas of what we help people with are areas around government programs, so social assistance, if you're on Ontario Works or Ontario Disability, if you have questions about social assistance, like maybe you've never had to go on social assistance before and it's new to you and you're feel intimidated by it, you're not sure how it works. If you became disabled and you suddenly realize that you need to apply for disability and it just feels overwhelming, like we're here to help you navigate that process. And certainly if you get denied, you know how you can navigate the legal process in appealing those decisions. So so anyone who is facing those kinds of crisis and those kinds of unknowns in their future, we're here to help around those social assistance. And that includes both the provincial programs, that's like Ontario Works, Ontario Disability, but also the federal programs. That could be employment insurance, like EI. So if you applied for EI and you're denied, and you're like, well, what do I do now? I don't understand why I've been denied. Come and see us because we may be able to help you with that appeal, as well as the Canadian disability program. So if you've applied for that and you've been denied, and for seniors out there, if you've had problems with your old age security or guaranteed income security benefits, and that's something also we can help with. So all of those kinds of government programs, we're here to help you, and we're more than happy to do so. The other area that we do a lot of work in is, of course, around housing law for tenants. And we all know that's a really big area right now with the affordable housing crisis going on, and the lack of affordable housing and some of the difficulties around that, which there's like lots of information in the news about that. But if you're a tenant in Grey and Bruce and you have a legal question, then we're here to answer that question for you. So it could be that you have a question around an eviction that has happened, or you got an eviction notice and you want to know, what do I do now? you'll call us. We can help you with that. If you get a notice of a rent increase and you want to know, is this legal? Can they do this? Again, we can help you with answer those questions. If you're in a lease and you want to know how to get yourself out of a lease, or if you want to leave and you want to know how to give proper notice. If you have repairs issues that are outstanding, we get lots of people who have, questions around, what do I do when I have bed bugs, or if I have mice, or if I have mold, or if I just have a broken stove or I don't have adequate heat. All of those are very common questions, and we're really happy to help tenants navigate that legal system and how to best advocate for yourself to get yourself to a safe and healthy rental housing situation.
With the, I was just going to ask a question. Yeah. With the current rental situation and the sudden increase in the rents, that putting people are in pretty precarious situations right now. Are you seeing an uptake in people coming in and wanting information?
Absolutely. I mean, we've the housing questions have always been a big part of what we do, but there has certainly been an increase in questions, a real increase in evictions in this area because of some of the affordability issues. So we have seen an increase in those questions coming through. People in really precarious housing, very difficult housing situations. Sometimes it gets very tricky legally, but we're really here to help people navigate, through that process. So for sure, that there has been an increase in that. And you've also may have heard about some of the delays and some of the difficulties with the landlord and tenant board, which is the administrative tribunal that hears these legal disputes, and that has become trickier for people to navigate than how it was in the past, just because they've gone to virtual hearings, they've gone to a lot of filing your applications virtually or online, and some people are really having a difficulty navigating the new online portal. And we're here to help people. So tenants, if you're struggling with that, if you don't know how to upload your documents, and come and see us, because we'll help you upload the documents for you, right? So if you need those kinds of problems, if you're facing those things, don't be shy. As I said, because we are here to help. We are a free service, so there's no fees attached to us, and the information you give to us is kept confidential, and we take that seriously. So if you call us, we won't call your landlord unless you give us permission. You can call us for free confidential advice, which is also important for people to know, because I know some people feel like, I don't want to call a lawyer, it feels too intimidating, but I promise you we're very nice people, and as I said, we're here to help you. And of course that information will be kept confidential. We're not going to share it without your permission. Yeah.
Well, the other thing, now this was a few years ago when I went into the legal clinic in the storefront. Right at the very front, you had a rack of pamphlets that cover all of these. So if you were unsure what you wanted to do next, if you popped in and picked up a pamphlet and took that with you, read it over, and then made the decision to actually converse with you, book an appointment, and discuss the problem. Sometimes people are, particularly around the rental situation, and they know they have a problem, they're very hesitant to raise any issues. And so sometimes reading that information first might give them the confidence to connect with you and get started.
Absolutely, right? And everyone's our doors are open. You're free to stop in and pick up a pamphlet. If you're not in Owen Sound, you can go to our website, and we have lots of information on our website, gblegalclinic.com. So if people aren't here or don't want to come in person, and the website has lots of links, lots of information there, but also lots of links to different legal resources. The Steps to Justice is a really great website. We have a link to it that you can type in your questions and you get answers back. It's a great resource that Legal Aid has put together. And I tell people, just because you call us doesn't mean you have to. It's just about getting information. It's getting your options. You don't necessarily have to take legal action if you call us. Sometimes it's just about, I want to know what my options are. I want to know what my rights are, and then I can make a decision on what to do with that information. And speaking about that, I just want to, before you jump in about housing, I just want to make sure I mention about our employment law project, right? Because a lot of people don't know that we also help people if they're dealing with difficulties in their employment. So this could be if you get fired, wrongfully dismissed, if you think bullying, and in particular, of course, our sexual harassment in the workplace awareness project, which I wanted to make sure to make people aware of that project. And this is an information project for people who, if they've experienced sexual harassment in the workplace, again, you can call us, confidential, free, to get information. If you're an ally, if you just see something happening in your workplace and you want to know information, you can do so. And if you're an employer and you're like, I want to know what I need to do to make sure my workplace is safe, because there are obligations on employers to make sure that they have a policy, we have that information for you. So.
Well, not only do you have that information, but you have this really incredible video that Rebecca, I believe it's Rebecca Halton.
Yes, Rebecca Halton, yes.
Yes, and we're going to play that now because not only is it entertaining, but it is informational as well. And she does an amazing job. I watched this video last week and immediately had to call you and say, oh, you need to come on the show. So let's play that video now.
Actually harassed by someone in the workplace, you should know that the law straight up says they're a jerk face. So that's why I'm here today, so follow along, and I'll tell you just exactly what the law says is wrong. So what does that mean? To sexually harass?
Does it mean to touch a coworker directly on the ass?
Ask me anything you want, but please keep it clean. I'm trying to keep this thing sort of PG-13. But in answer to your question, there's somewhere we can go. It's called the Human Rights Code of Ontario. The code tells us exactly what we can and can't do, so let's look at Section 7 then at subsection 2. There it says if you're a person who's an employee, you've a legally protected human right to be free from harassment in the workplace that is based on your sex or your sexual orientation. Okay, what comes next? The code, it also says that someone's an offender if they hassle you for something that's related to gender, like your identity or your gender expression. That's not just bad behavior, it's a legal transgression. And if someone with the power to change your situation, like to give you a promotion or financial elevation, hits on you or otherwise acts like a horny toad, they should know that their target is protected by the code. And if the toad is the type who can't handle rejection, they should take a close look at this little subsection, because reprisal for rejection or a threat of the same could find them on the wrong end of a human rights claim. Harassment's not one comment that's a little flirtatious. It's got to be a course of conduct that's considered vexatious. What's vexatious?
It's annoying, irksome,
wrong and problematic.
It's upsetting.
It's distressing.
It might even be traumatic.
Like a client who is always making comments on your body, or a boss who shows you pictures that are more than slightly naughty, or a coworker who's mocked you since you came out as gay, or a customer who hits on you like every second day. So if you think you might have been a target of shoo, the GBCLC can help you learn what to do. We can tell you what your rights are. We can offer advice. Even though we work in law, I swear we're really nice. We can talk to your employer if you give us consent to, and in certain circumstances, we can even represent you. 519-370-2200, and we'll do our best to tell you everything you should know.
Welcome back. Well, very nice production, Seana. Can you tell us what inspired this video, the making of it?
Yeah, so we are very fortunate because the federal government did provide us with funding to launch this campaign around awareness around the legal issues of sexual harassment in the workplace. So we wanted to get the information out. I know it can be a difficult conversation for people to have. Some people feel really uncomfortable with it. Some people don't know what it means. Some people are afraid of it. And it can be difficult to talk about. And so we wanted to do something that would kind of raise awareness to make people understand what sexual harassment in the workplace means and a little bit about what the law says. But we also wanted to make it very accessible and kind of a little bit, even though it's a very serious topic, we wanted to have a little bit of fun with it to kind of lighten the heaviness of it, but still be very respectful on this issue. So we were trying to strike that balance in this video. As you can see, it features all the staff at the legal clinic. So yes, Rebecca, our very talented lawyer here, she wrote the spoken word poem that is in the video. I said super talented, very excellent lawyer, but also a great poetress. So we're lucky that she put her creative talents to work. And then she roped us all into actually being in the video as well. And we had a very wonderful videographer who put it together. And so we're hoping that it will allow people to feel uncomfortable to watch it and to get a better idea of what sexual harassment means and a little bit about what the law says about it. We play with the word vexatious, so people kind of try to remember that legal term. We have a little bit of fun with in terms of understanding that that's the nature of some of that's inappropriate in terms of comments or behavior that's happening. And that there is a legal, you do have a legal remedy if this is experiencing to you. If you experience this, that there is a legal remedy for this as well. And I should mention that I think we were just talking in our break that how this does actually still happen in our workplace, and the recent surveys say that about 3 in 10 Canadians still experience sexual harassment in the workplace. So it is still very prevalent out there.
Is it ever? Is this so? The video, I'm thinking, is this something you're going to take around to the schools in Grey and Bruce counties? How is it going to be dispersed?
Yeah, so it's on our website. So certainly if you want to watch it again or you want to share it, it is on our website. So you can go there. We are working with trying to see, we're working on getting permission to do some information in the schools, especially around people maybe starting their first job, understanding what it is like. So we do have presentation proposals out to the schools. We're kind of waiting to get our finalizing our schedule for that. But yes, that's what we're hoping for. And as I said, it's also available out there for people to review and share if you like. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's so important for our community to know that the legal services are there and available. Now, at one point you had satellite offices, but they were closed over COVID. Are some of those satellite offices opening up now?
Yes, we haven't restarted our satellites yet. We do have plans, and we're really hoping that we can reintroduce that again coming in the spring and summer. We had thought about it, doing it restarting them in this year in 2023, but just like you, we were a little bit concerned about the weather. And so we thought maybe if we're going to do it, we should wait and see how we can do it in the spring, just for safety, for travel on that.
Piper Post here with me for Knights. Tune in on Fridays at 5 to watch Knights hockey. Alessandro Supino here with Knights hockey. Tune in to Rogers TV 5 o'clock on Friday for the game.
It was our 35th anniversary. To celebrate, we were on our way to Mama Rosie's, where we had our first date. That's when we heard coming from the radio. So we stopped and listened. It helped us get to safety. So when I think of our anniversary, because now we have even more to celebrate.
Hi, I'm Krista McKee of Wandering Grey Bruce. This season, we will be meeting some really interesting people. We're going to go visit Thornbury in the Clarksburg area, just to name a few. We will be going glamping, learning about some garlic, and checking out some live edge furniture.
And you can see all the little wormholes in here.
And it's smooth. Watch us on Rogers TV or online.
Don't forget to join us on Grey County Life at Home next week.
We're going to be talking to the folks from Victim Services.
Welcome back to Grey County Life on Rogers at Home. It's our favorite segment, Renee with the adorable Adoptables. And boy, did she up the cute factor this week. Oh my gosh, Renee, who is this little sweetie pie?
This little monkey is the last of his litter. And as we see every January, we have people who've had puppies who couldn't sell them over Christmas, and he's the last. And I've been saying that there's nothing wrong with this puppy. He is all playful, friendly, healthy, cute, and adorable. No reason for him to be last, just that he got to be the last one picked. The good news is he's gonna hopefully go after this segment or real soon, because he's really, as you can see, a busy guy who needs to be out of here. That's for darn sure. He is, that's so cute. He is a 10-week-old Walker Coonhound mix. They call them treeing Walker Coonhound, so I've shortened it. But at the same time, the mix is with a Beagle. So this is, in essence, a hound puppy, aren't you? Come here, turn your face around so they can see your, okay, fine, or don't.
He's got the cutest face. Oh my goodness.
He is. Now he's received his vaccines here. Okay, look at the camera. Look at the camera. There. Okay, fine, don't. He has received his vaccines here at the shelter. He's been dewormed and defleed. So all of that initial vetting is done. He is now eating dry food, which is another huge bonus. And he's learning to sleep in a crate, which is, again, a huge bonus. We love crate training. His leash work needs some improvement, of course, but he's all puppy. And that's what puppies, they're a lot of fun that way. We got to teach him all those things. He is, as you can see, teething. So he's at that stage as well. A whole lot of fun. Strongly recommended for a family with somebody who's got some time to do the training, the socializing, and more importantly, to keep them stimulated. Because as you can see, he's quite content to make his own fun, which might not be something that you want him to do, right? Right. I should have brought you some chewies while we were sitting here. Yeah, I should have. He is good with dogs and cats and children. Of course, keeping in mind that this is the stage he's at. So he's going to be chasing your dog. He's going to be chewing on your cat and probably chewing on your children. Because this is how they learn. This is a toddler thing, a toddler dog thing, isn't it? Yeah. He's not hurting me in any sort of way, thank goodness. And we actually kind of allow the chewing. I know that sounds awful, as long as he learns to do that appropriately, because we know that they need to do that to learn, like your toddler's going to put stuff in his mouth. He will require his neuter. He is way too young for me to neuter him. And I need to express that, because we don't want to see him come back because he's doing bad dog things, because he's not lost his parts. Keeping in mind that there are low-cost options for people. We can certainly direct you, but they do have waiting lists. So we're encouraging anybody who has an interest in that to call them right away, so that the minute you bring him home, you get on that list so that it can get done. Come here.
I do have to ask, and I always check in. We had Tag on last week, who was a Walker Coon Hound as well, but he was 7 years old, and there was a lot of conversation in our household, a lot of discussions about Tag over the weekend. So I'm hoping that Tag will find just the right home for him.
Me too. He is still with us, and he has a little bit of interest. The good news is he's a little quieter than this one. So for somebody who is not looking for the amount of work but wants a hound, he's a good option. Sometimes in circulating, the puppy gets people's attention who are already looking, who might get some interest. So I'm hoping that it works in Tag's favor that we've got this puppy. Sometimes it works the other way and the puppy goes first, and we're okay with that too, as long as they both go home. Right? Right. Gosh, you're cute. Okay, but you're not sitting still.
You think they could go home together?
Oh, that would be a whole lot of fun. Absolutely. They could be bookends. That'd give you something to do, wouldn't it? Oh, gosh. Yeah, give you something to do. Yeah.
Yeah. People do that where they get an older dog. When their dog is getting older, they bring in a younger puppy that kind of gets under the wing of the older one.
Yes, there are important things that dogs learn from dogs. Things like how hard to chew on something. For example, was he just chewed on my finger? They also learn things like how to behave in the house, when to bark, when not to bark. Those are things that dogs can teach dogs, and it sometimes does make the next dog a little easier. More importantly, when you're not home a lot and you don't get out and you don't get to stimulate their brains, the other dog can kind of fill that void for you, which is often a bonus, especially with a busy puppy. It's easier. They speak the same language. They do their own things. They can communicate, and they've got a buddy. All of those things can help prevent behavioral problems. That's for absolutely sure. And I mean, it's a little bit extra work, but sometimes it's easier in the long run because it's not you that has to do that stuff quite so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Tag is an absolutely beautiful dog. I'm just, as soon as I saw the puppy come on, I thought it was Tag again. They look so much alike.
They do. This one will be a little bit smaller. Tag is he's got the zoomies here. He's running around now. He's going to sleep very shortly here. I wish you could see him, but he's causing havoc. Tag is much quieter, but this one will be a little bit smaller. So there's a little bit of a flexibility that way. He's gone. Come.
And he's gone.
He's gone.
And it's so funny. I've only just recently realized that dogs have these zoomies where they just zoom around and yeah. What the heck is that? That's just because this guy doesn't. I know it doesn't appear as though he ever gets the zoomies.
Does he get the zoomies?
But he does get the zoomies. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a burst of excitement, that's for sure. It shows us that they're happy and they're loving life. It's all good. It can cause a bit of commotion in the house. I got to tell you, I have multiple dogs. You can imagine what happens when the zoomies happen. But it's fun and it's amusing and we laugh and it's it's the tail talking the bounce off the couch. You're chewing on my sleeve. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Like, let's play.
Speaking of zoomies, here we go, right? Yeah, you got them right now. You got them. Yeah. You got them. Oh my goodness. Get this dog
being a little puppy, yeah, he's going to crash and burn and go right to sleep as soon as he's finished.
That's what I'm hoping. I mean, maybe somebody will come see him this afternoon and he'll sleep through it. That would be amazing. They'll think he's so cute and quiet.
He's so easy going.
Yeah, he's so easy. Piece of cake. Okay, then they're going to watch. Yeah.
Well, he is absolutely adorable. We wish him lots of luck in finding his forever home. That would be fantastic.
It sure would, especially save my sleeve. Hey.
Well, I'm going to get this guy out for some zoomies in the snow this afternoon. We will see everybody again back here next week on Grey County Life at home. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye now.
Oh my God.
Call the Rogers TV Viewer Response Line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel